Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our /MaliciousCompliance. In today's episode, you would have to take that up with the board of directors. The loser ribbon. New quality inspector wants it by the book. And now has to work unpaid OT because she's salary. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You would have to take that up with the board of directors. There is a huge nationwide electronics retailed in the UK called Keys. They are renowned for having terrible customer service but very occasionally having decent prices. I was in the market for a KitchenAid stand mixer and my employer had an arrangement where I could buy Keys gift cards for a 10% discount. I was a bit reluctant to use them based on past experiences, but thought I would take advantage of saving a bit of cash and ordered my mixer online, delivery due in a week. Easy peasy, I thought. It was about £250/$300 before discount. Delivery day comes and goes, no mixer. The next day I ring up customer service and ask what happened. After 20 minutes on hold they tell me the product is out of stock and I will need to wait for their next delivery in 10 days' time. Not too bad, I'm a patient person. 10 days later, still no mixer or order update, even though it's showing as in stock and available to buy on their website. Back on the phone to CS. More time on hold. This time I'm told there is an order backlog and they couldn't tell me when it would be delivered, so I ask for a refund. Unfortunately in the UK if you pay by gift card, you can only get a refund by gift card. At this point I had no desire to ever use Keys again and was disappointed in myself for ever giving it a go. I would have no use for a gift card, so I decide to give them a bit more time. No prizes for guessing that this didn't bear fruit. A couple of weeks later I use the CS online chat to see what is going on. Again they are completely unable to help or confirm when/if I would receive my order. I asked what I was expected to do and the bloke said something along the lines of, "No idea mate, you would have to take it up with our board, ahaha." Fine, it's MC time. A quick trip to the company's house website gives me a list of all of their directors, here for anyone suffering a similar fate. Another hour on LinkedIn and I've tracked them all down. I proceed to send every director a summary of what has happened and links to screenshots of the online chat I had with the CS rep. Less than a day later I get a call from the CEO's personal assistant apologizing profusely and personally guaranteeing she will sort it out. By the time this all happened, the mixer had gone down by another £60, so she processed my order again and said she would arrange for the accounts team to send me a voucher for the difference. She was genuinely the hero of this story. The very next day my mixer arrives. Happy days. A few days after that I get a letter with a Keys voucher. I thought this would be the end of my sorry saga. However, as icing on the cake, they proceeded to send me 3 more £60 vouchers at random intervals over the next few months. I can only guess that their admin team is as useless as their customer service team. For completeness, I spent the vouchers on a new oven, which unsurprisingly turned up late and faulty, and had to be replaced. The loser ribbon. This story takes place in the 90s, which was a very different world to live in than what we have today. It was sort of in the middle of the turning point between borderline abusive tough love, and the advent of participation trophies. My karate instructor at the time was kind of like Cobra Kai. Not cartoonishly hardest, but honestly kind of leaning in that direction. I'll call him brass balls. Sparring was light contact, and while you were encouraged to actually hit each other, you were of course expected to pull your punches. And everyone wore full sparring gear, pads, cup, mouth guard, everything. So it wasn't like we were beating each other to death or anything. But if you drop your guard and take a side kick straight to the gut, you'll probably be on the ground for a bit. Karate is a contact sport, and we fully treated it as such. Anyway, another part of that environment was that only winners get promoted to the next belt. As part of your belt test, you had to do a kata to demonstrate your technique, and also win a light contact sparring match, Kumite rules, against another student who was also up for a belt promotion. Only the winner gets promoted. So one weekend after demonstrating my form and winning the sparring match, I get promoted. Let's call the kid Greg, because he was a good guy. Greg's dad, henceforth known as Shit Skull, is just losing his mind. Greg was totally cool with it, like, hey, congrats on the win, guess I need to work on my defense. But Shit Skull just wasn't having it, and started yelling at Brassballs about how Greg deserves something for getting beat up. And he pays X amount of dollars a month for these lessons, so he expects some results, blah blah blah. Greg wasn't in any way beat up, I hardly touched him. I simply got 8 points ahead because he didn't keep his guard up. So Brassballs is like, you're insisting that Greg deserves a ribbon for losing? Okie dokie artichoke. I'm paraphrasing most of this story because it's been over 30 years, but he did literally say, okie dokie artichoke, and I will never forget the shit-eating grin he had as he did so. And that brings us to our malicious compliance. Brassballs steps into his office, shutting the door behind him. The whole time Greg is like, Dad, stop it, you're embarrassing me, this is why I live with Mom. But Shit Skull apparently thought he had managed to intimidate the big bad karate teacher into getting his way, so he was just on cloud 9, until the office door opened and Brassballs tucked a scrap of red ribbon into the belt of Greg's GI, with the word loser written on it in marker. Shit Skull is speechless, sputtering like a fish out of water, before Brassballs delivers the coup de grace, don't worry, I made one for you too, and he hands Shit Skull an even bigger scrap of red cloth, with loser on it. Shit Skull just completely deflated, realizing that he'd been beaten at his own game, and there was no way in hell he was beating Brassballs at his. So he just kind of mumbles and leaves. The funniest part is he took his loser ribbon with him. Greg though wore that handmade loser ribbon to class every day until he finally passed his test. He completely owned the loser ribbon and turned it into a source of motivation. No idea where he is now, but good on you, man. Hope you're still owning your failures and getting stronger from them. New quality inspector wants it by the book. And now has to work unpaid OT because she's salary. I'll try to make this brief. I was trained in an advanced assembly position to replace a long-time employee who retired last week. I trained for 3 months, following the man's instructions to the letter, even taking notes on the ways he's developed in order to meet out companies demanding production quotas. Last Monday was my first day officially in the position, and I felt I was doing almost as good of a job as he was. The way it works, everything I build goes into a 24-hour hold. When I come in, I pull them from the hold, clean them and prepare them for shipping. So last Monday I start pulling my 24-hour inventory and getting it ready for quality to final inspect before it goes to shipping. Well, we also have a new quality inspector in my department who is apparently really gung-ho about her job. She's salaried, is only supposed to work 8 hours, and has never missed a chance to rub it in our faces, because she was also a production employee until 2 weeks ago when she got promoted. She sees me cleaning the assemblies, AMD proceeds to chew me out because they had only been on hold for 15 hours or so. Not 24. I informed her that I was taught that the 24-hour hold was to ensure they hold pressure, and that if they hadn't lost pressure in 12 hours they won't lose pressure in 24. And that by the time I had them all cleaned, they would be out of the 24-hour hold and I would have another batch to assemble and put in hold for the next day. That's the way it works. I clean and prepare until my other coworkers have assembled all my sub-assemblies, then I do the finish assembly while they work on new stuff for the next day. She was adamant, she wouldn't touch them until the full 24 hours had passed. So, she went and got her supervisor, my supervisor, and the engineering supervisor, who all agreed with me, but could see her point. So, they told me to start pulling my assemblies out of hold at the 24-hour mark after that day. So, I did. And at 3 o'clock, she had between 25 and 30 pieces to inspect every day last week. That's right, at 3 hours worth of work, and she is supposed to leave at 3:30. However, if she has parts in the inspection area, she has to inspect them and get them to shipping the same day. She can't leave parts overnight. So, she was forced to work OT for free. I have never felt so much hate from one person when they looked at me before, lol. Fast forward to today. My supervisor comes to me and tells me to go back to the system I was using before. That it seemed to flow smoother. I know the real reason though, and that's all that matters. Edit. We actually had a meeting about right before this break. I'm going to have 2 quality engineers working with me this week and maybe next, trying to sync the final assembly process guide to the new standard that they have given to subassembly. They're going to note how and when the parts reach me, and when they go correctly into the hold. They're talking about taking it down to a 12-hour hold, because the materials and things we use are better than they were 25 years ago, and we rarely have any pressure loss or leaks. The downfall of following this quality hold standard is it actually contradicts the rest of our subassembly processes that our engineering department issued to streamline production and help get parts out the door faster. So while the subassembly people are working with a fairly new process, I'm still stuck in a process that was implemented when Clinton was in office. It's the same with quality. I guess they overlooked it when they updated everything 3 years ago, and the guy I replaced just adapted instead of telling people that something was off. The same with the old quality inspector. He just rolled with the change and didn't think to mention to his engineering department that things weren't jibing. There's been a ton of wrong paperwork over the last 3 years that I guess they're just going to overlook, lol. Hopefully this will work itself out. Oh. My inspector still hates me. She's saying it's my fault that all these changes need to happen. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.